me take a time out to say a special good morning to those of you listening to Classic Radio, those of you on TV and TV. Good morning and welcome. It's To The Point. It's Friday, the 16th day of May, 2025. Good morning to one and all once again, especially those of you via social media platforms. Good morning to you. Those of you also via the YouTube channel. Good morning to you. Hey, good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Certainly hope you're having an awesome Friday morning and you're looking forward towards a productive day ahead. All right, folks, I have no guest in studio this morning, which means it's open line this morning here on the program. Feel free to give me that call, 435-2041, 435-2041. That's a number that you can call in, of course, whether via the WhatsApp or via the direct line. Let's hear from you this morning. Let's hear your views, your concerns. If you can offer solutions this morning, I'm always, of course, for that. Solutions to particular issues or concerns that you may have. If you want to share that this morning, feel free. I was thinking this morning, chiming in on a couple of issues that, of course, not only issues, but some of the, so to say, topic of conversation, I should say, that seem to be dominating this week. We heard about the government, of course, signing that understanding between themselves and, of course, the Mount Sinai Hospital. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that in particular? The benefit that could derive for us for here in Grenada. How do you feel? Do you have your pros and cons towards it? Your thoughts on that? Let's hear from you in relation to that. There's also another issue that seems to have been dominating lately. Lots of conversation of that via social media and other platforms. We're talking about that issue in terms of the folks in the Lackalum area, especially. They are the ones that you seem to be hearing a bit of a debate in relation to that. In terms of the government, of course, offering those deeds for properties, and folks are having a different opinion towards what they've been hearing and what they receive and so forth. Let's say your take on that. Maybe you're one of those individuals that may have a misunderstanding in terms of what you were told by the previous, not only the previous, but back in 2009, was it? And when you were given the option to get it up after Hurricane Ivan, those properties were built by the Venezuelans and so forth, and you were told that you had to pay for this and pay for that. Now you're hearing a different story. That's a conversation we're hearing some folks are saying. So for some reason, if you have varying opinions on this, to what's been said and what has been done now, let's hear from you this morning. The lines are opened, 435-2041. Let's hear you chiming on that. And let's go. Folks, don't forget the usual drill. Make sure your radio, your television, whatever device you have in the background, make sure they are totally turned off when you decide you want to call in. And, of course, make your contribution this morning. After you're through making your contribution, you can turn it back up as loud as you like. All right? Not in the process when you're making that call. Let's go to the phone line, our first caller. Again, we lost that caller. 435-2041. The WhatsApp is also up and running, 435-2041. Let's hear from you this morning, folks. If you do want to contribute towards today's program, it's open. The line's open, and I'm certainly all ears this morning. Let's go for our first caller. Caller, you are live. Good morning and welcome.
Morning, GT, and morning to your listeners and viewers.
Good morning to you, sir.
As you say, there are many issues that could be discussed, but I will not discuss those that people seek to create a confusion and misinformation. Mm-hmm. What I'm concerned about is what we are not paying attention to. It would seem to me that we talk about climate change and we have no clue. This morning on the news, in terms of the item on mosquitoes, the reality is, because of climate change, and not impending climate change, but climate change, it is exacerbating the situation with vector-borne disease and so on and such. Now, what we have to understand is how we are contributing to further, aggravating the situation and how collectively to resolve the issues that comes with it. I'm told that somebody who was closest to me, somebody I call my chosen brother, or brother by choice, succumbed to dengue a few years ago. And it's almost unbelievable up to now. So, if we are serious, we must minimize any possibility of our people succumbing to that. I was on a bus recently, and I saw the conductor threw a bottle. And I said to him, but no, that is not good. And he said, well, there's a bin right nearby. This kind of behavior where people have no regard for one another and even care of the environment. We must address those things, and I think these are more important issues than some of the bacchanal people trying to create. Because my fear, and I've seen it happen already in COVID and also in the hurricanes that passed, particularly Ivan, is that if we are not learning to live together, when we have major difficulty, there'll be chaos. I mean, there'll be conflict. There'll be mayhem. We need to, and the fact is that we didn't even have the rain season yet, and we had flooding in April. This needs to concern us. And so the only way that we could help to minimize major loss of life and probably even property and affecting well-being overall is to find a way to begin to try to cooperate with each other, listen to each other, and not trying to be, agents of malice and disorder. We really need to go that. Look, people are they're dying and dying not because of anybody else's responsibility, because our diet is not good, or over drinking, everything. Look on the road. The rate of accident, all of these things are cognizant or indicative of our state of consciousness. And then when you listen to the to the song that we are singing, it's all about me and I and they. It tells you a lot of things if you know how to listen and hear. Thank you, Judy. I could go on.
Thank you.
I don't want to start backing at me.
All right, man. Have a great Friday. What's left of it? Yeah. All right. 445-2041, 445-2041. That's the number. And those of you who are just chiming in by our Facebook page, good morning to you. Those of you via our YouTube channels, good morning to you also. 445-2041. The lines are open this morning for you. Let's hear your views, your concerns. And I always put this in between those solutions that you could probably come up with folks everywhere. I did mention this morning, I would probably like to hear your views from individuals. We just had that understanding or memorandum Sam between the government of Grenada and Mount Sinai Hospital. How do you feel in relation to that? We also hear the issue of individuals talking about, of course, the issue in the Lacaloma area where they were given the turning over of the deeds and so forth. How do you feel about that? Let's hear from you this morning. We do have another caller. Let's go to the line. Caller, you are live. Good morning and welcome.
Hello, just let me put down my radio, please.
Go right ahead, please. So it's 435-2041, that's the number. And, of course, the option for you to call in and share your views and concerns. Caller, are you back with me?
Yeah, sorry.
All right. She's coming. Hey, folks, you also have the option of calling via the WhatsApp. And, yes, go right ahead, please, caller.
I cannot talk about whatever.
Caller, there seems to be a bit of an issue with your phone. I'm not sure what's going on. There's a lot of static back. And
really?
It seems to be an issue there. You may have to have that rectified and call me back or use a different line of the sort. 435-2041, 435-2041. The lines are open. Let's hear from you this morning. Of course, let's hear from you. Your views are concerned. Those of you driving along the nation roads, good morning. There may be areas where it's probably still raining, and if it is, I beg of you to take your time as you drive along the nation roads. The roads are probably wet, which means your friction is greatly reduced, so I beg of you to take it easy. Look out for others on the roads also. Pedestrians, look out for them as they use our roads also, folks. 435-2041. You probably don't want to call in, but you want to contribute to today's program, and you probably want to send a WhatsApp. It's the same number, 435-2041, 435-2041 if you do want to send a WhatsApp. Once again, 435-2041. Let's hear from you this morning, folks. It's an open line edition of To The Point for today, Friday. We go back to the phone line. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Is it me or something of the sort? Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me now?
I'm hearing you loud and clear, caller, but just that there was some static on your line that's what made it difficult to hear you. You're pretty clear now. Go right ahead, please.
Talk about I can't even pronounce the word, the housing deeds you're talking about, but I could talk about the housing that I'm seeing going up for local Grenadians. I was looking at the Prime Minister visits around areas and looking at the condition of housing that Grenadians been living in for some years, and I just couldn't believe it. Mm-hmm. I was so I just could not believe it for so many years that our people was living in such a condition when we are talking about, the diaspora coming home, when we're talking about citizenship by investment, when we're talking about development. But I'm so happy that this government, I'm not political in that sense, but I am aware of politics in society, how it works. I am so pleased that we are now looking at our people and giving them adequate housing. In line with that, I did a write-up on Facebook, and I said, okay, why not encourage us for environment purposes as well to build, to plant food and flowers, because food and flowers are excellent for good health, and it helps keep our environment friendly and beautiful. I was appalled at the response I got from our people. It was so horrible and subjective and attacking that I wish now that I had never said that. All I was saying was, okay, we are responsible for our environment. Why not plant food at the back, because there's land, plant flowers, and that would keep the environment clean instead of just throwing things around and making our environment look so unhealthy. And I was so shocked at the response of GET. It was so destructive and negative. And I thought, why are we always on the front of being so subjective and attacking and ready to cuss and fight? And why can't we not learn something from something positive? So the last caller who talked about the environment, I agree with him. We are responsible for keeping Grenada environment friendly, not loans and aids from other people. This is our country. We as citizens are responsible for our health and for keeping our environment. We've got a beautiful country. Let us work together in our lifestyle, in our behavior, in our attitude on the buses. And on the cussing and the swearing, I was cussed like crazy on the bus because someone had a weed eater and they put it on my foot, and it was actually pressing on my ankle, and I pleaded with the man to take it out. The F and the C he used at me, I was so embarrassed. And I said to him, if I was a white woman from abroad, would you talk to me like that? Surely you would not. I'm just saying, right, our environment, our home, our grounds, our landing, we have a responsibility to do the best to make ourselves healthy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. Certainly appreciate your contribution this morning, and sometimes the things that we go through from our fellow men. 435-2041, 435-2041 line. It's the number if you want to be part of the program this morning. 435-2041. Did I say 9? 435-2041. That's the number for you to call in. Let's go back to the phone line. Caller live. Good morning.
Good morning, brother. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you this morning, sir?
I'm fine. I'm glad the environment is being mentioned.
Yes.
Because it's crucial. I tired see fellows throwing Kentucky box, driving over Granton, you see fellows just a Kentucky box fly out of the car or the truck, whatever it is. And that's bad for our environment. But one of the things I think we should note that trees are important in our environment. And we are unnecessarily cutting down trees and damaging our environment, because trees provide us with oxygen, and we need oxygen. So I recommend that, as a matter of our agricultural background, we try to plant trees in all strategic locations.
Are you with me, caller? Seem we have lost the caller there for some reason or the other. All right, 435-2041, 435-2041. And the conversation I threw out this morning to get a start, of course, I spoke about, of course, government standing at memorandum of standing together with the Mount Sinai Hospital out in the U.S. Of course, how do we feel about that in terms of helping to improve healthcare in Grenada? How do you feel about that? If you want to chime in on that this morning, feel free to do so. Let's go back to the phone line. Caller, you are live. Good morning to you.
Good morning, GT. I want to say that tomorrow is World Hypertension Day.
Yes.
And we have been seeing quite a number of young people with some seriously concerning elevated blood pressures.
I am certainly one of them, sir.
Well, okay. So then here's an opportunity for you to visit us tomorrow on Granby Street, opposite the Vegetables Market in St. George's. Mm-hmm. We are going to be there with the Grenada Food and Nutrition Council, the pharmacies, and sports and everything, to educate and also to us to, first of all, educate people on the associated risks, and then to give you tips and guidelines as to what best practices you can adopt to manage and control your blood
pressure
levels. Now, so we're going to be there from about 8 in the morning, and we are going to go up to like around midday.
All right.
As I said, it's World Hypertension Day tomorrow, and the team GT speaks to controlling your blood pressure accurately and living long. Now, there are many people who just check their blood pressure levels and they don't understand the reading. Some of them, likewise, they are using machines that are not certified, and others are not properly taking the blood pressure reading. I see some people talking, some people crossing their legs, some people not sitting upright properly, some people joking their phone. It will only give you a negative reading, meaning that the reading is not going to be accurate then. Yeah?
All right. And I'm assuming when they come out there tomorrow, of course, that bit of information will be shared with them. Just the proper, have you said proper information in terms of how you go about testing your blood pressure and so forth?
Yes. Because one more thing before I go, pardon me, but strokes, a lot of young good people are being affected by strokes and kidney disease as a result of having elevated, uncontrolled blood pressure levels. And so, this is an opportune time. And let me tell you, Judy, we are going to be going to Carriacou on the 30th of May to conduct the same exercise. And we expect it to be as impactful as we hope tomorrow's initiative will be. So I want to thank you and GBN for allowing me to share that. All right, man.
I appreciate you popping in and share the information, sir. Have a good day yourself.
You too, thanks.
All right. 435-2041, 435-2041. You have double options of calling in on the program this morning. If you prefer to use the WhatsApp, you can do so, or you can call the direct line. Let's go back to the phone line. Caller, you are live. Good morning and welcome.
Hi, good morning to you, GT, and to your followers.
Good morning to you, sir.
GT, politics will always be politics, and we know that, especially when you have an opposition, they are there to oppose, and sometimes they come up with very useful things, and it's important to have that kind of debate. But I always say that if one wants to be listened to, they have to start up with being credible or believable. Now, I heard it making the headlines on GBN on Monday, the opposition leader saying that agriculture is in a crisis and is spiraling out of control. I could have never thought of that NNP political leader would have the gumption to address agriculture after presiding over the demise of agriculture over 2 decades. I mean, we're hearing about things that haven't taken place since Beryl, about 10 months or 11 months ago. There are places that have not been cleared since Ivan 21 years ago. And there are people who still hoarding stuff they got for the last 20 years that they did not need. When farmers have not gotten the fields cleared. So when you're talking about 10 months ago, think of 20 years ago that things have not been done. Now, I mean, I don't understand. In 2004, MGT, just after Ivan, I was associated with a company that's still doing business in Grenada. And they wanted to do something for agriculture. And I said, you know what it is? They wanted to do something for education. And I said, I have a better idea. I have something that is both education and agricultural. And I thought of the farm school. But I'm passionate about agriculture myself. And that person, that benefactor, they donated over $100,000 to rebuild and refurbish the Maribor Farm School. Over $100,000 of this person. Not the company's money, his personal funds. In 2008, when the NDC came back in power, you know how many students there were at that facility? One. A single, a solitary student. That's how serious they were about rebuilding agriculture after Ivan. One student, 4 years after. I mean, it's true that I lambast the government many times, this current government, because I think agriculture should be addressed in a more structured way. I feel if you have a structured, strategic plan that you can lay out to people, we can see exactly how the different pieces are fitting together. But they are fitting. The number of boxes that are being checked, and we hear about all the planting material that's being brought in. The chicks, 10,000 coconut plants. We hear of the livestock that's being imported for farmers. The farm machinery pool, which was dormant, is being revived. Increasing in the number of, what do you call them again, the extension officers. All these things are happening. The farm labor program. So many good things are happening in agriculture for the first time in many years. I would like to see it more structured, but a lot is happening that was not happening. And for someone to come and say that, I think there's also a youth and agricultural program where they have financing and technical assistance and so. To come and say, agriculture is in crisis. Suddenly it's in crisis now. Now, of all times, it's spiraling out of control. To me, this is just so terrible. MNIB, very important part of agriculture, of the whole structure I'm talking about. But that government presided over the demise of MNIB to the point where MNIB was the buyer of last resort. It was not serving the government, that they were losing money on it. It was not serving the farmers. Farmers were not being paid. And they'll only sell to MNIB what they couldn't sell elsewhere. So it was not serving any purpose. Yes, it is taking a little while to bring it back together, but I understand there is a great plan. I'm not into the bowels of the beast to know what's happening. But to come and say that we need MNIB, what did you leave in the name of MNIB? How many $1 million in debt? And frustrated farmers? I think we have to be a lot more serious about that. If we want to talk about issues, let us deal with the real issues. Don't come and tell Grenadians today, in 2025, that agriculture is now in crisis, and it's spiraling out of control. Where was that person over the last 25 years? I do not know.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. Can we do for a break in a second? Thank you so much. Let's folks, we do for a break. Let's take it when we come back. We continue here with an open line this morning here on today's edition of To The Point. We're coming right back. Don't touch it out.
Heritage.
GBN presents the 2025 Maggie King of the Grill, Saturday, June 7th, Monrouge Plainfield from 11 a.m. Our partners, Maggie, the secret of great flavor, Grenada Distillers Limited, makers of Clark's Court, Grenada's #1 rum, Grenada Paper Products, makers of Cherish, Spring Soft, Harbour Bay and Super Value Toilet Paper, and Royal, Quick and Easy and Horizon Paper Towels, Budget Foods Inc., Classic Lighting, and Blue Bubbles PA Rental and Event Supplies. It's the 2025 Maggie King of the Grill, where flavor rules.
Grenada, the time has come. It's the big showdown in the first ever Classic Lighting and the Communal Credit Union Invitational 2025. Come witness the Royal Grenada Police Force and His Majesty's prison officers take on the nation's busmen and women in an epic 4x1 relay. Then it's Flow versus DG Cell. And don't miss out, Nawasa, who will be flooding Grenlec in the ultimate relay. All this and more, May 17th and 18th. At the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. Adults $30, children $15. Season passes are available. It's a showdown like no other. Be there.
Heritage Theatre presents Breaking Out, the Grenada Love Story, featuring Robert White and Lisa Grappi, written and directed by Chris DeRiggs.
But I still love you, Richie.
You love me and you're hard in me.
with 4 big performances, Saturday 24th and Sunday 25th May at the Grenada Trade Center, Saturday 31st May and Sunday 1st June at Deluxe Cinema in Grenville. Showtime 7 p.m. sharp.
He's the love of my life, Auntie. You have to marry a man for other things besides love, child.
Get your tickets at Mitchell's Pharmacy in Grand Anse, Gittins Health and Wellness Wall Street, Gabriel's Pharmacy Pedmata, St. David Pharmacy, St. Andrew Pharmacy, Art and Soul Boutique at Spiceland Mall, 3B's Shoe Store, and GoToFed.com. Breaking out. Come out and enjoy Grenadian theater at its best.
This ad complements Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited.
Welcome back to our listeners. Welcome back, viewers, to The Point for today, Friday, the 16th day of May. Those of you via our social media platforms, good morning and welcome also. It's an open line this morning. We go back to the phone line. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
I hope that a lot of people understand me. I think I'll be speaking that they should understand, but I hope that they understand me. It seems to me that the modern world is more ancient than the ancient world. Why I did say that? It is because a lot of things are happening now that was never happening, that were never happening, as you would say, long ago. Now, people, to me, get more boisterous. To me, they become less educated. In other words, what they have learned, they didn't learn it well, because perhaps we are living in modern days. And I look at things, you find more fighting, more shooting at the, when somebody's not approaching you, which would cause danger to you. People who have been trained are doing the wrong thing with when they have other better means of quelling the rat, whatever the rat may be, whether it be fighting, whether it be stealing. There are many ways of solving the problem. But yet for us, we have more problem. Is this modern? We have children, to me, are less educated, because people believe that education is academic education. Yes, it's education. And they cannot transfer what they have learned in the school or perhaps in the home. The good discipline, the method of being cooperative and so on and so on. I feel that something is wrong, and I would say with us. You even call on certain programs, and when you call, people would bash you because they cannot, not say they do not understand. They cannot understand what you are talking about, because they so put their minds on the negative that they can't see the positive in what you are talking. Every time I talk about education, everybody believes it's academic education. If you know how to plant a fig tree to bear 2 months, then perhaps it's better you're educated. If you know how to construct a house that might take 5 months and you construct it in 4 months, to me, you have a better education than the one that could complete it in 5 years and you complete it better. So people don't understand, and I don't expect people to understand me because I'm too serious. I tell you already, they're giving the weather forecast in 2 different terms. So I have to change my mind from one position to the other, from metric system to imperial system. That is bad. Anyhow, I'll end here.
Thank you, sir.
I don't know if you understand me too.
Have a good morning.
Thank you.
Have a good one. We do have another caller via WhatsApp. WhatsApp caller, you're live. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, DT.
Good morning to you, sir.
And I do want to address the signing of the memorandum of understanding.
Yes.
I was happy that that topic was brought up. And since the other days, after the budget, I wanted to make the point. The point is clearly that we cannot.
Caller?
Our thinking and the way we do things have to be different. Now, signing the memorandum of understandings with this, it would mean that there'd be a change in the administration and also the presentation of medical services to person. Now, that can only happen if you overhaul the whole system. Now, this administration I'm seeing here under Minister Telesford has been the only one that would have actually looked at the whole the product of medical service holistically, and would have actually wanted to go about and change that whole system to come about with something that is new and also something that would be able to take care of all arms and aspects of the healthcare system. That is where I would want to leave it. Okay. And also, I would also like to say, no, you can't be a medical doctor who received a scholarship, got trained under the scholarship. You may have paid your indebtedness of what the scholarship would have actually entitled you to do, and then come down and criticize the whole Medicare system. You cannot do that, because if you have left the system and gone on to something that is bigger and greater for you, and not given back to where you would have actually gained that important aspect that would have actually allowed you to be able to operate in that space. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Appreciate your contribution this morning so much. Let's go to another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Yeah, morning again, GT. Since your last caller mentioned about the memorandum, I was trying to avoid discussing that at this point in time, because I think it's very complex and we need to find a way to have some deep conversation on it. But let me say, I am not too sure that this is the best thing for Grenada, and this is not an attack on the government. We had a situation in the past where ministerial complex and the stadiums and so on were presented as the future of Grenada and the salvation and so on. And we see what happened. The ministerial complex having so much problem causing the health of the workers and so on. The stadium is a problem because, it's only now and then we get some use of it in a big way. So I'm saying that we may need to relook this. And then the other thing that keeps hitting me hard, are we going to position ourselves that if we have any difficulty here among ourselves, Uncle Sam would use it as they use the medical school to invade us? So the thing about it, we have seen how the American medical health system, although it's said to be one of the most evolved, but you have where so many people die. In fact, one of the leading causes of death in the United States is somebody going to a doctor. Are we going to cultivate that culture? These are things we need to think about. We need to think about also whether we shouldn't be planting, aiming at the low-hanging fruits. For instance, working towards to create a healthier population, encouraging physical activity, nutrition, security, and all of that, and also building community. We cannot be sustainable on the basis of this individualistic, selfish, greedy, dog-eat-dog, as a trade union said recently, culture. We must engender a more collective, more collaborative and inclusive culture. And we're not doing that. And this is what we need to do. We need to see schools as a base, as one of the centers where we will promote health, primary health care. I think if we work on that, develop our community, it might pay off more. And also in the protection of our environment. I know there's the idea of attracting tourism and medical tourism and all the things, but do we need those things? Many places have gone in those directions, and we see them create much more improvement. So So we need to find ways and means, based on our small economy, based on our limited environment, that we use it and make sure that there is a basis for future generation inheriting what God has given to us in the small island. So I'm not impressed or I'm being convinced that this is the way to go, especially when Uncle Sam could use that as a basis in the future to storm future generations. And secondly, the name Mount Sinai, I mean, it creates difficulty in my mind. What kind of connection does the Zionists have with this? We need to find out on that. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your contribution also. 445-2041, 435. We're moving up to make that 23 minutes before the top 10. We do have another caller. Caller, you are live. Good morning and welcome.
GT, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Thank you so much for taking the call. I'd like to extend a good luck wish to the team that left on BA on Wednesday for the Chelsea Flower Show.
Oh, true. Yes,
Grenada's, exhibit takes such precedent when, you're in the big marquee where these countries like South Africa comes with the huge blooms. We have Japan. We have across the globe. This is a huge thing for us as a small nation to get to these prestigious shows and demonstrate the beauty of our island. I really would like to wish them all the very best and hope that they bring home gold to Grenada. So good luck, team.
Thank you. Thank you so much. 435-2041, 435-2041. That's the number if you want to be live on today's program. We have an open line edition offered to the point for today, Friday. So 16th of May. Call you live. Good morning.
Yeah, brother. I got cut off a while ago. Sorry about that. Yeah, I was saying that agriculture is part and parcel of the existence of Grenada. And we need to do a properly structured program. Government needs to have a clear path as to where we want to go with agriculture. Because what I'm seeing now is a lot of short crops. And that is good, but it has its shortcomings. We need trees, because trees they attract the rain, they retain the water in the soil. So that helps us to have good water supply and to have a cooler climate. And more oxygen in our air. So I think as a people, we need to understand the benefit of agriculture. And the government need to talk to us, get GNCF to analyze the food that we produce in Grenada so we know the nutrient values of those foods and we know why we should use them as meals, because the revolution said grow what you eat and eat what you grow, but we need to know why these things are important. I don't want to say more, so thank you and have a good day.
You too, sir. Have a good one. Blessings goes out to you. 435-2041. The lines are open for listeners and viewers this morning here on today's program. It's to the point, and we go back to the phone line, and we do have another caller. Caller, you are live. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, JT.
Good morning to you, sir.
Let me tell you something. You see in Grenada here, you could grow the economy how you want. You could go up to 5%. For example, the pearl pass and you bring it back down to nothing. So, all this thing about growing the economy is good. We're growing vegetables in this country here. If pearl pass again, we bring it back to nothing so you could grow any amount of agriculture you want. Well, let's come any amount of agriculture you want. And a hurricane pass, you're going back down to zero. So while you talk about trees and all this kind of thing, all you have to do what you could with the hurricane pass, blast down everything, you start again. Because you can't rely on that, because the hurricane dam bring you back to nothing, regardless of where you go. So manufacturing is still better, because when hurricane pass, manufacturing thing come back easy, such as the tourism and all this kind of thing come back, but not make anything can come back in the next 20 years.
All right, sir.
You have a good day.
Thank you. And it's predicted we're going to have an active season this year, and we've been hopeful that none of the systems do come our way. We are certainly praying for that. 435-2041, 435-2041. The lines are open, and about 20 minutes more before we take a wrap for today's edition of To The Point. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, GT. And
how are you this morning? I'm doing great. How are you this morning?
I'm all right.
All right.
GT, concerning the health, we really need help in the in our health sector, and I appreciate the move.
Yes.
I wish that perhaps we could get a shorter appointment. You see, when you're not feeling well and you go to the doctor and they are says, you have to spend sometimes 5 months, 6 months before you could see a doctor. That's wearing the patient down, you know. So I wish we could see a little movement so at least we could get an appointment for a month or two, shorten it, and we need help in our sector. And you know, I think you have a law if you post up things and media against people, you could face a trial for that.
I didn't get that clearly. What you said, Colin?
I think they say like if you post up something, especially on children.
Okay. And you're talking about posting stuff via social media.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it is there, like if they post up the thing and you like I take it and I share it, I could be in trouble. But you know what I'm happy about, GT? I see a post and it's quite from America, somebody sent that post from me. And you have 3 people in the video. 2 school children and 1 videoing what's taking place. I would like them to, I don't know how they could reach the depth of these children who are doing that. Perhaps they don't know they're innocent. But you do that, you post up a thing on somebody, share it. I find it so unfair to that person who had to face a trial for that. So I would like them to speak to the children because I see a video and it's real nasty. And you could see the children know what they're doing because they have somebody videoing it, and it must be somebody in charge of them that share it out. So why somebody else have to face the trial, the charge for sending it out to or sharing it? There is a lot of things we really have to sit down and plan and see how we could address this situation.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much also. Thank you so much. Call over WhatsApp. Good morning. You're live.
GT, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you doing this morning?
Not too bad at all. GT, you start doing all the planting already? Or you start reaping already?
Well, it's so sad that where I do live, I have no area that I can plant. Doesn't around my house give me the privilege to plant anything. I'm probably like you. I'm all concrete around me, so it's
already.
Well, lucky you. All right, man. I'll probably make a purchase of you. All right.
Okay, GT. Okay, what I'm calling about. First, I want to congratulate the government. You know, on that 15 years agreement that they had with Mount Sinai. Mount Sinai is a very good hospital, GT. And my daughter born in Mount Sinai, my grandson also born in Mount Sinai, you know, and the people there is very good and one of the growing hospital in the United States, basically, especially in the Brooklyn area, you know. So once again, I want to congratulate that deal, and I think it's going to be a plus for Grenada because one of the problem in Grenada is healthcare, and you know most people from the diaspora. We want to come home, but because of the healthcare, sometimes we have to shorten our time.
So do you view it as being beneficial for Grenada in the immediate, or is it going to take a process of time before we see the benefits that are going to derive from it?
Well, basically, I think Grenada start benefiting already because if you listen.
Call it me? I think we
lost. Some of the changes, you know?
Yeah.
But we start seeing some of the changes. So I think, as the minister said again, it's not just building a new hospital, but also working on what we have on right now. So once we have them around and they could give the good advice, I think we're going to go places, you know, okay, because healthcare is very, very, very important. Okay, the second thing I'd like to mention also, I saw that. Okay, you guys were speaking about agriculture a while ago, and then I see like 200 plants was sent to Carrico again. I think that's a very good thing of the government.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And for the farmers of the, and also with the animals and them that was sent also. GT, you have a great weekend.
You too. You too.
And all the best. And GT, I'll send you something from my garden, man.
I appreciate that a whole lot, sir. I appreciate that a whole lot. Have a good morning. And what's left for today?
You be on the safe side, my brother.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Caller, your life. Good morning.
Good morning, GT.
Good morning to you, sir.
It's very instructive that the statement that you made earlier on to the gentleman who just exited the phone.
Yeah.
That where you live, you don't have no place to plant around. That was one of the weaknesses I saw in those persons, those who govern in the country at the time, when they accepted the gift from China after Ivan in those houses. I think we should have bargained for a better deal in terms of land space. People often criticize Eric Gary, but if you look...
Caller, you with me? I'm not sure, but we seem to have lost that caller there. Apology for our listeners, of course, and apology to the caller there. 435-2041. We're moving up to approximately 15 minutes before the top 10. Let's go back to the phone line. Caller, you're live. Good morning and welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
I would like to commend the government on this 15-year deal with the Mount Sinai or whatever they call the name, right? But what about the no, right? The no. Because people are getting sick now, right? So while we are doing the 15-year thing, we should also be making rapid changes and improvement in the health sector. I know it's difficult, but we have to be a little bit more strategic and we have to be more aggressive in getting certain things fixed, right? Second thing I want to mention is that we have cancer as the leading cause, one of the leading causes of death in Grenada and I believe in the Caribbean, right? And I have had the unfortunate experience of seeing persons who are dying of cancer. The excruciating pain that they experience, right? And I was wondering... appealing to our Minister of Health and all the relevant persons to ensure that we have the right medication for pain management. Now, I know that these medications cannot be bought over the counter, and so it may have to be done by government, the health people, right, the relevant persons. And it may be very expensive, but I think that most persons will be willing to purchase such medication to ensure that their family members do not suffer. I know these medications are available, sir, because I have also seen persons who came home to be with their loved one after they have been diagnosed with cancer, right? They came down to spend their final days with their loved ones because some of them didn't want to die abroad and so on, right?
Okay.
And I have seen with my own eyes, as people normally say, that they have the medication, their family and so on from abroad, they have been given the medication and they have been getting that kind of medication to manage the pain. So even though they are dying, they are not in this kind of excruciating pain. So I am appealing And I'm calling on all Grenadians to call on our Minister of Health to make sure that these medications are available. And I know people are going to try their best to purchase these medications for their family, but they cannot get it over the counter as ordinary citizens.
Thank you, caller.
You understand what I'm saying, right?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hey, folks, we drew for a break. Let's take it. And when we come back, we get into the final segment of today's program. Stay with us, folks. We will be right back.
When you need...
Hello, my name is Ethan Sam. I am your two-time character medalist, and I'll be participating at the Classic Lightning Communal Invitational, May 17 and 18 at the Crown James National Stadium. See you there.
Hello, my name is Annie Wilby. I specialize in the middle distance event. I will be participating in this year's Classic Lighting Communal Games, May 17th and 18th at the Crown James Athletic Stadium. See you there.
Grenada, the time has come. It's the big showdown in the first ever Classic Lighting and the Communal Credit Union Invitational 2025. Come witness the Royal Grenada Police Force and His Majesty's prison officers take on the nation's busmen and women in an epic 4x1 relay. Then it's Flow versus DG Sal. And don't miss out, Nawasa, who will be flooding Glen in the ultimate relay. All this and more, May 17th and 18th. At the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. Adults $30, children $15. Season passes are available. It's a showdown like no other. Be there.
Get ready, Grenada. The Maggie King of the Grill is back and bigger than ever. On Saturday, June 7th, Monroe's playing field transforms into the ultimate battleground for grill masters. Think you got what it takes? Then fire up those grills and show your skills. Registration closes Friday, April the 11th. So don't miss your chance to compete for that sizzling prize and bragging rights. It's food, fun, and flavor, all powered by Maggie. To register, call 407-8458. Maggie King of the Grill, where flavor rules. See you there.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. Once again, it's To The Point, Classic Radio GBN TV. We're inside the final segment of today's program. Just approximately, just around 8 more minutes left. We still going to accommodate a couple more of your calls. Of course, let's hear from you in this segment, folks. We do have a caller live. Caller, you're welcome. Good morning.
Good morning, Kitty. Sorry, I don't know what happened. I just got caught up. I don't know what it was.
Go right ahead, please.
I was making the point that where you live, you say you don't have anything wrong where you could plant. The houses that was built from the Chinese sponsorship gift for Grenada, the same thing exists. And some Grenadians are making a whole lot of fuss that the present administration has taken a decision to sell those apartments. So that is what they are, apartments really. Because as opposed to giving it to what they say the poor and vulnerable. GT, I somewhat disagree with this position, and let me tell you why. If you're going to take the poor and vulnerable and put in those situations where they cannot do anything for themselves, to plan anything around, just like what you are saying, you may be fortunate that you have a job, so that you could go and buy stuff in the market. But what about those people, those poor and vulnerable who don't have a sustainable job? How would they make it? So, in other words, the government will be placed in a much more difficult situation where they have to still come back and deal with these people to help them go through life. I think it's a much better position if the government could give someone a piece of land that they could plant something around, as opposed to giving them an apartment where they have to buy stuff, they have to study to. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. I thought I'd make that point, having heard you said that you could not have planned around where you live. But the substantial point that I wanted to make is in relation to two things. The deeds that was given by the government to those people who had lands that they had in their hand for years and could not have done anything with it. This government is making some bold initiative, I believe. And people have to look at what the government is doing. Those deeds that those people have gotten after occupying those lands for years, now give them the opportunity to transact with it. And I think that is empowerment of our people. And we have to look at that in a positive way, not negative. The other aspect is the hospital. My former wife and children mother passed away sometime. And I would like to also start with that preamble that I don't fault in the hospital for her death. But GT, the other situation where something was wrong with her. And before we could have paid for it, they was not doing the scan without we paying for it. And I'm saying, with this arrangement that is coming on board, I believe, based on what I know is happening in America, those people, all people here in Grenada, would afford the opportunity. Where they go into the hospital, something is wrong with them, that they can able to be properly diagnosed, and the persons or whoever is responsible, next in kin, is built so that you don't have a situation where someone would die because they did not come in time with monies to properly diagnose what it is wrong with you so that you could be treated. I think this is where the government is heading to, a better health care facility and amenities. And people have to be appreciative of that. And yes, the citizens of Grenada could help structure what the government should be doing by voicing their opinion on what they would like to see as the final product coming from that arrangement with the government. People can decide that, all people. And that is where our voices should be heard, not criticizing the arrangement. The arrangement, I believe, is good. But what could we do to make that product that this arrangement is giving to the people of Grenada a better one? Thank you and have a good day.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your contribution a whole lot there. 435-2041. We have just approximately 3 minutes moving up before the top of the hour this morning. Let's go back to the phone line. We do have another caller. Caller, welcome. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. And be brief, please, sir. Thank you.
That's my opinion. God is the omnipotent. He knows when a man or when someone should die. I don't know if they could prolong somebody's life by giving them medication. Maybe you would say that. But if God is God, God knows when to prolong a person's life. Death is a necessary evil. It must happen when it must happen. Nobody, doctors, neither nurses could prolong somebody's death. You may think so, but they must die when they have to die. That is my concept about God and his ruling. If you say, I know there is a God. God is the omnipotent and he rules every single thing, even the trees, every single thing in the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day yourself. 435-2041. We still could accommodate one more caller before we take a wrap for today's edition of To The Point. And this will be my final caller for today. Caller, you're alive. Good morning. You're welcome.
Jay, good morning, brother. How you doing?
Doing great. How are you this morning?
I'm fine myself, bro.
All right. Go right ahead.
Jay, sometimes when people talk about agriculture, it's something that I'm really passionate about. Because I know some farmers that right now that you know, from the barrel money, they haven't got it as yet. And now it's planting season. I'm appealing to the government that you know who applied. You see the application. Yes, some of them is NMT, and you know that. You cannot make agriculture political because farmers are going through hell outside here. Why are you doing that? Hereby, my colleague farmer, we need to plant right now. Up to now, JT, you know, we ain't got the money as yet. And I'm talking about one of the largest farmers in St. Patrick's. Ain't get the money as yet, you know. And the minister know the person personally, you know. Why is that? Why you have to beg when other people are who's planting peach tree and country, and we not even farmers getting money, who behind the house full of high woods getting money, and people are just depending on agriculture. When they plant something, they get so much. Just imagine, JC, you buy some chemical to spray our melon, and the person in the store give us the wrong chemical. Over 15 trays of melon go on the drain, you know. Farmers are going through hell. So we need that very relief so we can plant the money so we can plant. And the minister is listening right now, and you know who I'm talking about. And if you don't pay that money or give us that money, I'm going to expose him based on the help we gave him during the campaign for the last election. To see how we call that? There's a word for it. I just can't remember the word right now. But if somebody help you, I think that you should return that help. Simple as that. And it's not you're helping them, but you're getting what is due to them because everybody gets money. Why are you depriving that farmer the money? Why?
Caller, you my final caller for the morning, and we have a bit over time now, so I want to thank you once again for your contribution and best wishes for the rest of the day, man. All right. Hey, folks, that's what we're going to take a wrap for this edition of To The Point for today, Friday the 16th. Of course, it's been a great week. Join me again next week for another edition of To The Point. Have a great day. What's left of it, folks, and goodbye. Let's say goodbye for today.